So I have a chapter on dating and what it's like if you're looking to meet people and you are in and around the music industry, but you also have an experience with intimidation and manipulation. For a long time, I've always been an advocate of getting out there and getting to meet people because you just never know. And I find that when you're a nice person or you're open-hearted person, it's a little trickier when you're trying to date because you may end up meeting people who are a danger to your safety. And I think I started online dating when it was not a thing. MySpace, Black Planet, for those of you who know Black Planet, that was like the place where I would meet dates. And what was cool about it is you get to see each other's interests, what kind of music you like, and then you agree to meet somewhere, and if it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. For myself, I've always had instances where it just doesn't go because I think with a higher mind and I'm not thinking about the material. So when you're meeting someone who's trying to like impress with like money or stuff, after everything I've been through, even back in the day, I was always like, oh, you know what? I gotta make sure that if I'm meeting someone and it's someone who I wanna date for a long term, that they're safe, you know? And so when I came back from Japan, I wasn't opposed to online dating because things were not weird or dangerous like they have become in recent years. And so I thought, okay, my stepmom's pressuring me. My mom was on the side talking in my ear too. But, I was always like, even if I try, I know what it is I'm looking for. And I'm not going to force the subject, even though that's what mothers tend to do, is pressure you. And so I set up a few accounts, Plenty of Fish. I forgot the other one. I actually was trying to incorporate this into my blog at the time because I was trying to showcase how to build a city lifestyle. Like when you're coming up in the city, how do you meet people? Where do you go? What do you do? How do these sites work? And I actually had a few articles on my blog talking about each of the dating sites. And I ended up taking the articles down because my abuser or the abusers were actually using this information to target me on the dating sites. Okay, so let's get in there. So I remember setting up an account on one of the sites, and you get messages like, hey, how are you? Whatever. And for many years, I remember my stepmom always telling me that she thought I was too picky. And the thing is, I realized my pickiness is not something where I'm picking someone apart because I think I'm better than anybody or I'm perfect. It's not that. It's that I think I can sense when it's not genuine or if it's a manipulation. And in some cases, it is always a manipulation. And so I thought, it doesn't hurt to meet people because my rule is not to sleep with anyone. There's none of that going on. It's just get to meet people because you are looking for a permanent partner, right? And so a guy messaged me and he seemed really nice. And I was like, let me just give this a try. You just never know who you're going to meet. So he mentioned that he would take me to a tequila bar. And he's a bit of a tequila connoisseur, so he knew all about the distilling process and all this and that. So he would take me there and we would check it out, and then he can explain the properties. And I was like, oh, okay. And so, this is funny, but it's not funny. So he said in his profile that he was 5'11" or some shit like that. And when I actually met him, he was wearing shoes with lifts, like it's like a bit of a platform, and it wasn't like a stylish platform like a Converse or something. It was actually a medical thing to, I guess, augment his stature or his height. So he lied about his height, which was weird. Girls don't like that. And he said that he deadlifts whatever weights, which I thought was funny because it didn't really matter to me if someone goes to the gym or not. But he lied that he went to the gym. So when I said in my profile that I go to the gym, when he saw me, he's like, oh shit, like you actually look like you go to the gym. And I'm like, yeah, dude, you don't look like you've ever been to a gym. So they're not big deals. It's just if someone can lie about the little things, well then maybe look at hear the sirens going off. Oh wow. So someone lies about the little things, red flag, sirens go off, they're gonna lie about some big things. So we went to the tequila bar, and the bartender was well versed in the product, where it's coming from, what country, what the flavor's supposed to be. This guy's going off, and he's saying, you know, that he's been to some agave farms, and he was explaining, I'm like, you know, I'm an information-based person. It was cool. So that went well, and then a few days or weeks later, he was like, well, why don't we go to catch a movie? And I was like, all right. So at the time, the Dr. Dre biopic was out, and I actually really wanted to see that. So I was like, you know, hip-hop culture never dies in me, so let's go check that movie. And so we went. Now this is where I want to talk about how some of the setups occur. So while we were waiting in the theater for the movie to start, this is where my date's behavior reminded me of the narcissists I'd met thus far and the abusers thus far. He went into this mode where he started talking about him and his boys. Because I find with narcissists, they often, in moments of feeling confident about themselves or how they're coming across to you, they will boast and brag about things that actually are not safe. So he started talking about his boys and growing up in the East End, and they used to jack cars. He said they used to jack cars. They used to break and enter into ABC. I tuned out when I heard the carjacking and the breaking into places. I was actually kind of creeped out. He would talk about how they would steal goods and steal products and take things, and they would heist XYZ. And I was just kind of like, okay, basically I'm on a date with a criminal, right? And so while he's talking about all the types of petty crime and crimes he's committed with his boys as a team or as a crew, he had his call display on his phone. And this is something that stalkers often do because they're connected in a bit of a network. So they all kind of work together, kind of like a pickup artist crew, to target whatever person, guy or girl, whoever they're targeting. So his phone lights up, and on his call display is the name of the abuser that I actually talk about in this book. So the person's name shows up on the call display, and this is where I know that the stalking has gone on for a long time. The date shows me his call display and made sure that I saw it, and then he answered the phone. And so I was like, okay, so, the city's big. this could be another person with the same name, or this could mean that I'm being actually set up on this date through the profile via the stalker or the abuser. And it was then that I saw that on the date's call display, I started to realize that this wasn't the first time they've set up a target or a woman, let's say, who they wanted to revenge or get back at for not wanting to sleep with them. And so it was after that date I was like, yeah, I'm not going to see this person again. And I'm also not going to have any more online dating accounts, because this is one of the ways that the abuser, the stalker, has been trying to target me through fake accounts and or sending people from his collective crew to target me. And I'm not so sure why the abuser would do this when I was never interested in him that way, but I realized that this is how out of bounds or out of pocket someone can get just because they want to control who you are, where you go, because they want to sleep with you. So that's really something that I think women and men should be mindful of. Since that incident, I never felt any need to head back onto a dating site, because I didn't know if I was going to be set up over and over again by the same crew and the same abuser. So in order to avoid that, I just cut them off. And about a year or two ago, someone created a fake account on Twitter, and on that account, they sent me a tweet, and it actually said, "Are you still on those dating sites?" And I was like, yeah, this is still the same stalker abusing me, doing it in an obscure way where they think it's hidden, but it's not. So yeah, that's my story about dating and trying to get out there when you're being stalked. It's tough, but over time, because narcissists operate in repetition, they repeat the same things over and over again. You kind of get a hint on what's real, what's fake, and then you move accordingly. So hope it helps. And it was a very interesting occurrence. Thank you.